Hey everyone, it's Kay from Asian Boss. I hope you're all safe and staying indoors. In a previous video, we gave you guys an update about how COVID-19 was impacting our production here at Asian Boss. But we thought it would be even better to talk to our team members directly. So right now we have our teams from Philippines, India, Indonesia, and Japan to tell us what's happening in their countries. Let's get straight to it. So how are you feeling? Are you safe? What about your family members?
Currently we are safe, and but it's still a little, a situation of panic because the lockdown makes us feel like it's something very horrible going around. At times I have panic attacks, like maybe the world is ending or maybe something bad is happening, and
I'm really worried about this situation. What if I, have the virus, and what if I infect my mom? Because I'm living with my mom.
My parents getting more like overprotective to their kids, to me, to my brothers. Actually, our family is running out of masks. The things that they are feel worried if I'm going outside is because I cannot protect myself.
I really just prefer to stay home because we're also afraid of the police if they're going to arrest us if we go out.
Oh, I can feel that you guys are really concerned about the virus. Many of our subscribers have been asking with the COVID-19 how it's affected our production. Can you just let us know what's happening in each country in general?
We are restricted with the movement. Before we can go out, we have to have a pass. And then there are checkpoints and the police, they check.
What do you mean by pass?
The quarantine pass. They gave it to each household. Only one quarantine pass per family. So if my brother goes out, I cannot go out.
So we are not officially locked down or anything. But Japanese government is, of course, announcing people, please stay at home, don't go out unless you really, really need it. Japanese government started to announce things seriously after the Olympics had been postponed. I understand though, maybe they couldn't really say that, hey, it's not safe, so let's stay at home. Like if they say that, then who wants to come visit Olympics anyways?
India has declared lockdown since 24th of March. By a lot of newspapers that I read, it's like one of the harshest lockdown in the entire world.
So if you're feeling sick, how do you get tested in your country? Are there test centers?
Indonesia already start a massive rapid test for the corona suspect.
It's not super clear where we can take tests because like my family members, my friends, we were really curious. So we were like searching, but no one could really get the clear answer of it.
It's a big problem here in the Philippines because some people who are not positive, like the higher officials, powerful ones, they test themselves because they just want to make sure that they don't have the coronavirus. So it's a sad thing because those who really need it, they can't get it. And also, they don't have the money. And I heard a report that the hospital even sent them home. They are coronavirus positive and they sent them home because they're saying that the hospital is full. So it's really shocking for me.
In some states, they are using GPS system and tracking people. If suppose there is one person who's positive, and through GPS we get to know that he has been to so and so places, so the government is going there and doing the testing.
So personally, how scared are you about the situation? Do you feel like you're going to catch it?
Yes, because there are people who has no symptoms and they have it. And they were just surprised that they became positive.
So I feel more scared that I might be like infected, but I didn't realize, and then I infect the whole family. The things that I really scared at most.
Since I'm in my 20s right now, it's unlikely that I'll develop symptoms. So I might give it to my parents because I live with my parents, and there is also an infant in my house.
One thing I am wondering, in your country, is it quite easy to get masks?
Well, in the Philippines, I just tried to buy yesterday, and they say that there's no mask available.
If you're looking for N95 mask, obviously we are not getting that as well.
How much would it cost for a mask in India, for example?
Around $5 to $12 to $15 for N95 masks.
Is that for like a box?
For one.
For one
Yeah.
US
95
dollar,
masks.
is it?
Yeah.
It's crazy expensive.
Yeah. And also it's unavailable online completely.
Wow.
And they don't sell it like on streets and all. You don't find them selling it. So I'm not really sure where to go to buy those masks.
We're still running out of masks, so it's not easy to buy new masks. Some of the Japanese people tried to sell a box of masks with like 10 times bigger amount of money online, and it became like chaos. So Japanese government banned it.
From what you've heard, like what's the latest update from the government?
So there are like lockdowns within lockdowns, which means that there are few areas which are called as containment zones. And those areas are completely cut off from the rest of the city. The people cannot go out even to buy groceries. Nothing. There are police outside, on the border of those areas, and the police is going to go inside and give grocery and milk and whatever to those people. And there's this one zone, and it's like kind of slum area. And I have heard in news that there are around 35,000 people, and they are locked down within that zone. So those people cannot at all come outside. It's a very densely populated area. If virus, God forbid, spreads there in that entire community, we'll be seeing a very catastrophic situation.
Indonesia is not doing lockdown, but the state of emergency is in Jakarta is extended from April the 4th and now become April the 19th. So it's extended for like 2 weeks more.
In the Philippines, Duterte is so powerful right now. He signed the Bayanihan Hilas One Act, so it gave him more power. Like he can take over private establishments if he wants to. He can allocate budget. So more or less, he can do everything that he wants. And then the military and the policemen are also getting powerful. Just like yesterday, there was a riot, and then it became so violent. They arrested the protesters and they were hitting them. And then Duterte said that it's okay if they shoot them. That's how he became the police, the military, and him is so powerful. Like he's just saying that they can just kill people if they are violating.
So how is the government enforcing these rules?
They just strict when they see so many people gathering in one place. They just doing something is not really useful. Actually, they just hanging around, sitting, playing their smartphone on games on the cafe. So the police maybe can get angry because this kind of person can be dangerous to others.
How is it in Japan?
Well, in Japan, it's not really strict. I mean, Japanese governments are asking us politely why we can't really go out, why we should stay at home. Like, I can go out anytime I want. Still, that's the situation in Japan, so it's not really strict.
In the Philippines, it's very strict. Like in the news, if they violate the curfew, they were put in the dog cage. Some they are put under the sun. It's really, yes, it's like torture under the heat of the sun. So
wow, that sounds horrible.
Horrible. And I think many human rights violation already with regards to that.
How's the situation in India?
So I've seen videos of police asking them to do squats on the street, and they're made to stand in the sun for a long time. The measures are really strict here because we all know that India is so densely populated. If at all, God forbid, things go out of hand, it's going to be very difficult for us to contain it. So the government and the authorities are trying their best and trying as hard as possible to keep people shut. Even though the cases are not so much in number in India yet, the death is not so much in India, but still the lockdown is pretty harsh here compared to other places.
I've heard in some countries that they shut off public transportation too, but how is it in your country?
There's no public transportation. You just have to walk. And just yesterday, I saw that there's this old lady walking by herself, and it's very difficult for her and for people who are still working because they can't ride the bus, they can't taxi anything.
Last thing I heard, they just operate around 6 or 8 p.m. But the transportation is still normal.
The biggest shock that India has seen was the shutdown of all the public transportation. The daily wage workers started to migrate from cities to their hometown because as there is no work in the city, they are not getting enough money to survive here, and they have to pay rent. And a lot of ugly landlords, they are asking the laborers to pay all full month's rent, even though they know they can't survive. So they have to leave their houses from cities and go back to their hometown. And the hometowns are sometimes as far as 400 kilometers, 500 kilometers. So we have seen this huge migration of laborers walking to go back to their houses. So when this happened, there is this unfortunate situation when one person actually died walking back home. He had to go for 300 kilometers and he covered 200 kilometers walking. But then after that, he had a stroke out of exertion and he died. I think there is a reason that the transportation has been stopped, but we need to think about the people who really cannot have the privilege or opportunity to sit home.
How has all of this affected the filming for you guys?
It's very difficult to film. Like, we're doing our best how to film it. Like, for example, if we can do the video chat like this, but physically I cannot cross the border because there are checkpoints and the military and the police are there, and they're going to check if you have the quarantine pass, and if you are a resident of that area. So if you're not, they're not going to let you pass.
In India, it's very difficult to shoot anymore because before this lockdown started, we had 2 shoots already lined up. But the interviewee themselves said no for the shoot because one of them included, lots of kids. So they are scared for the health of those kids. And since we rent the equipments, we don't have our own equipments. So the renting places have shut down because of this. This ban was only until 31st. But then on 24th, Prime Minister Modi said that there is a lockdown of 21 days and they won't allow any sort of shooting happening until 14th of April.
So street interview, we have not much trouble doing it. I noticed that last weekend when I did the interview. But like catching interviewee, like going to the filming place, it's not safe, but it's possible. It's not illegal. But the thing is, many of the staff members didn't agree to show up. It's understandable, and I really want their safety first. But it's really hard to find reporter and videographer for street interview because people are really afraid. And my mom upstairs, she doesn't want me to go out and go to Tokyo. It takes about an hour by train, so it's not safe.
So obviously I think, we're creating content like this so that we can just, showcase to the world like what's really happening and kind of the limitations we have in terms of the filming capabilities and for doing these streets or docus. So, hopefully we can even try new formats and see if it works. So what's the hardest thing for you right now? What's the biggest challenge for you?
compared to the other people that I see around, the poor people and especially the daily wage workers, my struggle is not as much, but I kind of socialize with my family members, especially my grandma. She really needs to see, every grandchildren and everybody. She's a little old and she likes to see everyone around. So not having the, not getting to see your family members themselves is a little heartbreaking for me. And apart from that, I'm glad that to be honest, I'm really glad that Asian was is still continuing with our payments and stuff. Otherwise, uh, the financial crisis would have been very difficult to handle.
So, what about the people around you? How's the virus affecting them?
One of my friend is really struggling. He's from abroad and he moved to Japan at the end of last year for the Olympic work. Because it's postponed, he needed to move out from his place, and he's gonna need to fly back to his country within 2 days.
Some of my friends, they income will cut half, and then some of them just cannot get any paid for this month because the company is doing a hiatus for this month. Also, another thing is about when I'm going outside, I still saw some homeless on the street. They don't get any protection. I don't know how they will eat. I don't know how they will survive on this situation actually.
I want to help someone, and she texted me that if there's something I can give, like even rice, I would want to. I'm willing to. But the problem is, how can I go to that place? It's very far from me. I don't have a private transportation, and I can also pass through the checkpoint if I go there because I'm just limited in this area. I feel so bad because right now they don't have anything to eat. They will die in hunger. And of course, I don't want that to happen, but what can I do, right? So it's making me sad. That's it. Sorry. Yeah. Somehow it feels so sad because this person, why you want to help the person, but you can't help the person because there's also nothing you can do, and the person is getting hungry, and I don't know that it's very difficult for me, and I feel that it's difficult for that person. So I'm just sorry. So yeah. So right now I'm so sad, very sad. That there's nothing we can do, and that people will go hungry, and maybe they'll die. But what can we do? Even though I want to help, I won't be able to help. I can't go out. I can't even go there. How can I go there? There's no public transportation. Yeah, that's it. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Basically, there's just no way to just really even deliver like the main necessities for people.
Yeah, and they have nothing anymore.
Can
Heard
you can you transfer money? Like, can you
oh,
try transferring some money?
no, there's no bank.
Does that person have a bank account?
No, also no. They live in slum area, so
Yeah,
what can
that's
I?
that's the biggest problem I see. That happens in
Yeah,
India as well. A lot of people do not have bank account. So even if I want to transfer some money, it will be like, how do I do it? I'm really shocked how in Philippines this problem is not really looked into, because Philippines situation is very similar to India's situation in regards of lower economic sector. So I'm really shocked how your government is not really doing anything about it.
there was a riot yesterday because people are protesting that uh they want food, they are hungry, and they got arrested because they are saying that they're actually asking for help, right? But they got arrested and it became violent. So the situation is really sad, and I don't know how come people are not doing anything. And you just have to give, right? The situation is very bad. People will go hungry, people will die. Actually, it just seems like they will not die because of the virus. They will die because of hunger, or they will die because of like they got shot or something like that.
So thank you so much for answering these questions. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we finish?
I know it's really hard time for everyone, but let's stick together. Like, instead of, I'm hearing so many sad news, racism news towards especially Asian Americans or Asian people who are living abroad. But now it's not the time to blame or attack someone. It's the time to, stick all together and help each other and love each other, as a human being. Like, otherwise we can't really beat this situation. So let's not hate each other, but instead let's try to, like, care others and be happy. Yeah, please stay safe, people.
Message that I really want to say is to people that have power, and then also the people that have power in social media. They have many followers, they have power, they can at least get information, or get educating people about this pandemic also, and they can make some like crowdfunding to help another people that really needs, because this in this era, in these days, in Indonesia itself, people rather to hear the social media influencer instead of the government. The social media star is pretty much have important role in the situation actually. I mean, like just like us Asian boss, that we have millions of viewers, right? Followers on subscriber. We give a great information about COVID-19 in the previous video. It really educate me also about the truth of COVID-19, because there is so many hoax on the WhatsApp, Twitter, or something like that.
Coronavirus doesn't choose whether you're rich, you're poor, whatever, what's your status. But then here in my country, I have seen that those who have really nothing are the most affected by this kind of pandemic. On the other hand, it wants our eyes to be open. What are the most important things? Like there are hunger, there is poverty, we are the environment, because of what happened, the environment, like Mother Earth can breathe now. So there's, I feel like there's a certain message that God wants to, or whoever you believe in, for a higher being, that there's a message to all of us, maybe to change our ways and to know these kind of things that are in front of us that we really don't see. Now we should see. And these issues, these social issues like poverty, disease, like even racism, right? Let's all wake up. Let's we are all affected by this, so we should all work together on how to solve this. So I think that's the message that this situation is really want to tell us.
Just hang in there. I know it's a very difficult time, but we have seen that after this storm, there's always a beautiful day to come, and we can see how China is now slowly getting on its feet. It is taking time, but it's getting on its feet back. And I think we just need to be more empathetic. We need to realize and see that how we can help others in this situation. If you are able to help somebody, but just don't lose hope right now. It's not the time to lose your hopes. And let's just take few lessons from the situation, and look back at what habits that we had could have harmed, uh, you know could have caused this kind of situation.
I think you guys just kind of nailed it. I believe for Asian Boss, we need to give the right information, make sure that people don't attack each other but collaborate. And every individual has power too. Like, help your neighbor, help your family, help anybody. I think even throughout these tough times, we hope that we can make sure that we can make like a positive impact to this world. And, you know, we hope to do our part for that. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to make that positive impact. Thank you guys for jumping on the call today, and stay safe, and we'll get through this all together, step by step. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.